You couldn't wait 4 more days until I made the deal. I can't work with that kind of stupidity!
The morning of October 31st, 2025, began like any other autumn day in Paris. But before noon, newsrooms across France froze as a single message appeared on the AFP wire. Tcheky Karyo, French actor and musician, has passed away at 72 after a battle with cancer. The statement came from his wife Valérie Karyo and their children. It was short, respectful, and heartbreakingly final. Within minutes, The Guardian published the English headline: Veteran actor Tcheky Karyo, star of Nikita and The Missing, dies age 72. Across social media, his name began trending in France, the United Kingdom, Japan, and the United States. At the BBC, producers halted regular programming to air a brief tribute. Scenes from The Missing, his voiceover from Baptiste, and one closing line. He was the quietest man on screen, and that's why the world listened. By evening, France was in mourning. Theaters dimmed their lights, news anchors struggled to keep composure, and the hashtag Merci Tcheky Karyo appeared on millions of screens. He had been a part of cinema for over 40 years. The man whose eyes carried silence like poetry. Now, the silence was real. Behind the dignified career and calm interviews, few knew that Tcheky Karyo had been quietly fighting cancer for several years. He continued to work, record music, and appear on television even as his health declined. Those close to him said he approached illness with the same humility and discipline he brought to his craft. His wife Valérie Karyo, who stood by him for over 2 decades, wrote in her statement, "He faced it with grace and peace. Even in pain, he smiled when music played." Friends recalled how, during his last months in Brittany, he spent mornings near the sea, notebook in hand, sketching melodies that would remain unfinished. Neighbors described seeing him walk slowly along the shoreline, stopping often to look at the horizon, as if memorizing it. There were no public announcements, no interviews hinting at his condition. He had always kept his personal life separate from his public one. The final weeks were spent in quiet company with his family and his guitar. To those who knew him, his silence was not withdrawal, it was acceptance. He once said, "When words run out, music takes over. And when music stops, silence tells the rest." Tcheky Karyo was born on October 4th, 1953, in Istanbul, Turkey, to a Sephardic Jewish father and a Greek mother. The family later moved to France, where he grew up in Paris, surrounded by multiple languages and cultures. That mixture would shape the artist he became, a performer able to express emotion beyond words. He studied acting at the Cyrano Theater, where teachers noticed his depth of emotion and natural restraint. Unlike many students who sought attention, he mastered the art of subtlety, the pause before the line, the silence between breaths. Later, he joined the Daniel Serrano Company, performing in stage classics like Tartuffe, Macbeth, and Othello. He became known for roles that required quiet intensity rather than theatrical outburst. In time, he entered the National Theatre of Strasbourg, honing both classical and contemporary performance. In an interview years later, he reflected, "On stage, I learned that silence can be louder than any line. It can hold both strength and sorrow." Those early lessons in restraint would define his entire screen career. The turning point came in 1982 with La Balance, a gritty police drama by Bob Swaim. His portrayal of Petrovich, a conflicted informant, earned him a César nomination for Best New Actor. Critics called him a storm hidden behind calm. In 1986, he was awarded the Jean Gabin Prize, given to the most promising young actor in France. His ability to convey emotion without exaggeration made him stand out in an era filled with grand gestures. By the late 1980s, his reputation spread beyond France. In Jean-Jacques On Knows the Bear, 1988, he played a hunter torn between instinct and compassion. Audiences were captivated. Here was a man who could make even cruelty look human. Then, in 1990, came the role that made him an international name, Bob, the mentor in Luc Besson's La Femme Nikita. His portrayal of the cold yet caring government handler became iconic. He won Best Actor at the Mistfest Film Festival that year, and the world finally learned his name, Tcheky Karyo. In interviews, Besson said, "He wasn't acting, he was feeling. Every scene with him had gravity." Hollywood came calling soon after. Karyo appeared in Ridley Scott's 1492, Conquest of Paradise, Michael Bay's Bad Boys, The Patriot with Mel Gibson, and the James Bond film GoldenEye, where he portrayed the Russian defense minister. Each role was different, but his presence remained unmistakable, quiet, calculated, unforgettable. He later said, "I never try to be a Hollywood star. I just want to play truth in any language." He seamlessly balanced international films with homegrown French cinema. In 2001, he even appeared in Amélie, the whimsical masterpiece by Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Though his role was brief, it reminded audiences of his range, from stoic intensity to delicate humor. His multilingual ability, fluent in French, English, Spanish, and Turkish, allowed him to transcend borders. To Hollywood, he was the exotic intellectual. To France, he was their quiet conscience. When cameras stopped rolling, Tcheky Karyo turned to music. He composed songs that carried the same emotional weight as his films. Introspective, soulful, and often tinged with melancholy. Albums like Celine Canus Unit, 2006, Credo, 2013, and Noir et Blanc, 2021, revealed another side of him. He once explained, "Music is what I do when acting becomes too small to hold all my feelings." During his final months, music became his comfort. His family revealed that he continued writing melodies from his home in Brittany until his final days. In his notebook, they found a line written in French. "Le silence n'est pas vide. Il est plein de souvenirs." Silence is not empty. It's full of memories. That single sentence captured the essence of his entire life. News of his passing ignited an outpouring of grief and admiration across the world. Director Luc Besson wrote, "He never needed to shout to be heard." Will Smith, who worked with him on Bad Boys, posted, "Rest easy, my brother. You taught me calm in chaos." Jet Li shared a tribute on Weibo, calling him a warrior of soul, not of fists. The BBC's Lindsay Salt, head of drama, released a statement. He was beloved by our audiences for The Missing, Baptiste, and Boat Story. His humanity made every role unforgettable. At the Theatre National de Strasbourg, the stage lights dimmed for 1 minute before the evening's performance. Fans left flowers, handwritten notes, and candles outside the theater's gates. One note read, "Thank you for teaching us that silence can be brave." Across France, TV channels replayed clips from La Femme Nikita and The Missing. The country's Minister of Culture announced that the upcoming César Awards would open with a tribute to him, a gesture reserved only for legends. Tcheky Karyo's legacy cannot be measured only by his awards or his filmography of over 70 titles. It lives in the emotion he evoked and the respect he earned across generations. Young French actors like Pierre Niney and Tahar Rahim cited him as a mentor from afar. They admired how he embodied depth without drama, proof that authenticity could outshine spectacle. Plans are underway to create the Tcheky Karyo Award for Emotional Authenticity, honoring performances defined by truth and restraint, the very values he lived by. In his final recorded interview, he reflected, "Fame fades, but truth stays. The camera only reflects what's already in your eyes." He leaves behind his wife Valerie, their daughter Liv, his 2 older children, including Louise, and a legacy of artistry that stretched from Istanbul to Hollywood. When asked years ago how he wished to be remembered, he smiled softly and said, "As a man who listened, now the world listens." In his absence, to the echo of his words, the stillness of his gaze, and the music that lingers long after the lights fade. Extended narrative continuation. Across the French film community, tributes to Tcheky Karyo continue to surface, not as grand speeches, but as quiet gestures. Cinemas in Paris replay his films without commentary. In Strasbourg, the National Theatre hung a single photograph of him in the main lobby, black and white, unframed, placed just above the entrance to the stage. There is no caption beneath it. It doesn't need one. Film critics describe his death not as the end of a career, but as the closing of a chapter in European cinema where subtlety still mattered. He stood at the intersection between stage and screen, between expression and silence. Bridge few actors could cross. At the 2026 César Awards, when his name appeared during the In Memoriam sequence, the hall fell into complete silence. No applause, no music, only the flicker of his face on the screen. Even in death, he commanded quiet, and that quiet spoke louder than anything else that night. Internationally, retrospectives are being planned under the title The Art of Silence, remembering Tcheky Karyo. One will be held in Los Angeles, another in Tokyo, and a third in Istanbul, a symbolic circle returning to the city of his birth. In each location, screenings of La Femme Nikita, The Bear, The Missing, and Baptiste will play without trailers or ads, just as he preferred. Pure film, pure truth. Younger artists across France began quoting his words. Don't act to be seen, act to be felt. That line now circulates across acting schools like a quiet manifesto. Music lovers have also rediscovered his albums. On Spotify, his 2013 record, Credo, rose back to the charts within days of his passing. Listeners left thousands of comments beneath his songs, calling them letters from the other side. Tracks like Ce lien qui nous unit, C'est la vie feel newly haunting, as though he had written them knowing they would one day be his goodbye. In Brittany, fans and locals have turned to Shoreline, where he once walked, into a kind of open-air shrine. They bring flowers, guitars, handwritten notes, and place them in the sand before the tide sweeps them away. One evening, a small group played his song noir Et Blanc as the sun set. The waves carried the melody farther than their voices could reach. Back in Paris, students from the conservatoire held an impromptu stage reading of Macbeth, one of his earliest roles. They dedicated the performance to him, whispering his name before the curtain rose. For them, he was not just an actor. He was a reminder that restraint could be revolutionary. Those who knew him personally say he never wanted monuments or statues. He once told a friend, "The moment you build a statue, you stop listening." That was Tcheky, allergic to noise, allergic to self-importance, and devoted to the quiet craft of being human. In the end, his greatest achievement was not a single performance, but the way he taught audiences to see beauty in stillness. He didn't play heroes or villains. He played people, fragile and real. And in doing so, he redefined what it meant to act. There's a line from one of his own songs that fans have started to quote online. Je n'ai pas peur du silence. Il m'a appris à parler. I'm not afraid of silence. It taught me how to speak. Perhaps that is his true legacy, not in sound or fame, but in the gentle reminder that silence, too, can be immortal.